Hello, I would like to present to you a call that came into the line. Matt Dillahunty and Shannon Q hosting. A Mormon is calling in on the 15th of October 2023. So you're going to hear the last 6 or 7 minutes of the call, and then after that I'm going to come in and make some comments. So here we go. Matt has the caller has claimed that the Book of Mormon is proof that there's a God who loves us. And he has produced effectively two pieces of evidence. One are the witnesses that apparently saw the angel and the golden plates that Joseph Smith purportedly produced and translated from to the Book of Mormon. And secondly, he's claiming that there are anachronisms that the Book of Mormon corrected, namely that ancient peoples in the Americas had cement, and this was not known in 1830 when he translated it. So let's have a listen to the last 7 minutes of the call, and then I'll come in at the end.
Question, which is, show me something in the book that shows that there is a God and that he loves us. And the fact that cement existed at some point in time,
in New York,
different than we initially thought, is not an answer.
Could perfectly describe.
Right, now I'm going to mute you again. Ryan, you're not going to deflect and get off. Let's assume that the Book of Mormon successfully debunks anachronisms. How does that prove that there is a God or that God loves us?
Because it's an impossibility for a farm boy, unlearned Joseph Smith from 1830 to have created that book.
No, sir, it's not. You are being dishonest and gullible. There is nothing. There is no logical argument that begins with a farm boy couldn't have known this. Therefore, he must have got the information from a God, and that God must love us. That is a dishonest.
You're not letting me finish my argument.
That is
you guys cut me off. I say two sentences and you cut me off because you know.
Because
you're scared. You're
not addressing the argument.
Because you won't address the argument. Is that making you happy?
I am addressing it, but it's not as weak as you want it to be, so you're scared of it.
That's why I'm not letting you talk. Here's the thing. I'm not letting you talk because you have some script and you are not listening. You're not a stupid person. Don't act like you are and don't act like I am. How can you make an argument that begins with Joseph Smith had information that I do not believe Joseph Smith could have had, therefore it must have come from a God who loves us? Make that case or go away.
Yeah, the evidence won't go away. That's the problem. And what I told you when I started this call was this is my testimony is built.
Ryan, I'm going to try this one last time, you smug, whiny jackass. I'm asking you to present an argument supported by evidence. And what you're doing is saying Joseph Smith knew things that I don't think he could have known. Therefore, it's reasonable for me to conclude that there is a God who loves us. That syllogism has not been presented, and the evidence connecting those things has not been presented. Instead of whining about how I haven't let you finish, make that case or you will go away. How's that? Make the case.
A book that contains claims, historical claims, and all sorts of claims, if that turns out to be true and is manifest to be true, that is evidence the truthfulness of that book, Matt.
No, it is not.
You think that there was like a submarine that brought Jews to the Americas, like before Jesus even existed?
Your argument is fallacious. Your argument is fallacious. The fact that a book contains something that is true does not mean that the other things that it contains is true. That is just a fallacious argument.
You're correct. You're correct. And that's why my argument isn't exclusively that. You asked me for some evidence for why. I can't give you one sentence for why I believe everything I believe.
Stop. But Stop talking. If you acknowledge the argument is fallacious, are you able to make a non-fallacious argument for God existing and loving us?
I don't acknowledge the argument's fallacious. What I'm saying is your characteristic.
You liar. You fucking liar. You just said I was right when I said that your argument was fallacious. I'm going to unmute you and ask you again. Did you present a fallacious argument?
No.
Goodbye.
Not in the least.
You're a liar. You acknowledged that the argument was fallacious because you asserted that if a book contains claims that turn out to be true, that's evidence that the rest of the book is true. And it is not in any way evidence that the rest of the book is true. It's possible for a book to contain one true thing and 25,000 lies, or 24,999 lies and one true thing, or 24,999 true things and one lie. Those are all possible. You don't get to point to something that you think is true in the book and say, therefore, that confirms that a God exists and loves us. That's a fallacious argument, correct?
Sorry, am I still on, Matt? Can you hear me?
I just asked you a question.
Yeah, sorry, I wasn't sure if you cut me off. That's based when you started that comment. I thought you were cutting me off.
Are you going to answer the question?
Yes, I wasn't making a fallacious argument. I was not making a fallacious argument.
I just outlined the argument and had said it was fallacious, and you agreed. Are you now saying it's not fallacious?
No, I've never agreed it was fallacious. I agree that it's incomplete, and that it's possible. And that it's possible that what you said was true. That the book could contain some information that's true.
Okay, Ryan, here, I'm going to try and explain this to you. The second you agree that what I say is a possibility, you are acknowledging that your statement that if the book contains something is true, that is then evidence that the rest of the book is true, you are acknowledging that that statement is fallacious. But I'm going to say this. If someone says that because a book contains a true statement, other statements in the book are likely to be true, is that claim fallacious? Yes or no?
That sounds like a fallacious statement to me.
That is the argument that you made.
No, it's not.
It is the argument that you made, and now I'm going to ask you again. Are you able to present a non-fallacious argument backed by independently verifiable objective evidence that there's a God who loves us? Yes or no?
Yes, I am.
Then
yes,
do
I
it.
am.
Then do it.
You're letting me say about 3 words.
Don't say another word that's not part of your argument. If you say anything else that is not part of you doing that thing that you just said you can do, I will drop your call. Do it. Present a non-fallacious argument. Shut up until I'm done. Shut up until I'm done.
By itself isn't dispositive doesn't mean it's not evidence in favor of something.
Shut the fuck up, Ryan. Until I'm done, I want this to be clear. Present
I haven't been able to answer anything you said.
Goodbye,
you haven't really addressed anything you're saying.
Whiner.
I'm not.
Nope, you're done.
Okay, yeah, just to sum up there. So obviously he only presented 2 pieces of evidence, both very, very weak, in my opinion. And they hit the nail on the head. Just because one thing in a book is true, he happened to get something right, namely that ancient peoples in the Americas had cement. I don't really find that remarkable. We knew in 1830 that the Romans had cement, ancient peoples had cement, and even though it wasn't specifically known that the tribes in the Americas had cement at that time, it wouldn't really be that difficult to sort of deduce from the fact that the Romans had cement that maybe they had cement too. Or maybe Joseph Smith was just so ignorant of these matters, it didn't even occur to him that they didn't have cement, and he might have just stuck it in the story. I don't find it remarkable. I don't find it remarkable at all, frankly. Yeah, and the other thing is about the witnesses to the angel and to the plates, and that they did not retract their statements later. I don't find that remarkable. First of all, we don't really know what they saw. They claim that they saw an angel. Well, that's spectral evidence, so it wouldn't be, that's a spectral claim. It would not be admissible in a court as he claims it would be. They didn't retract it. Well, maybe they did, but maybe they just didn't make a big show about it. They might have retracted it in private, or maybe they didn't because they didn't want to be branded liars if they'd made these statements, even though they moved away from Joseph Smith and went against him. For them to admit that they were liars, I can see how they probably wouldn't have wanted to do that. So I'm not impressed with that either, because there's a good reason why they would not have retracted. Yeah, so we've seen this in other religions. We've seen this claim that because there is one true thing in a book, which they claim couldn't have been known unless there was a real God involved. For example, the Muslims claim about the surah that says Allah was the expander of the universe, that, wow, the universe is really expanding. We know that now because of science. Nobody could have known that at the time. Therefore, not only is that true, it must have been a God. And the whole of Islam, the whole of the Quran is true, all the Sharia law, the whole lot, the whole shebang, it's all true just because they've got a 1 in 3 chance the universe is either static, it's not expanding, or shrinking, or it's shrinking, or it's expanding. You've got 1 in 3 chance there. And if you're trying to say that you're trying to spread the glory of Allah, Allah's glory is expanding, growing all the time, you would say that the universe is expanding and that Allah is doing the expanding because he obviously created the universe. So I don't find that remarkable, and I don't find it remarkable that Joseph Smith included in his so-called translation that the ancient peoples of the Americas had cement. I don't find it remarkable at all. So it comes back to this thing that, you know, we know that New York is real, but that doesn't make Spider-Man true. It's a very rudimentary and primitive kind of analogy, but it's absolutely true that extrapolating or claiming that everything in a book is true just because one thing is true is one of the biggest fallacies I can think of in the whole of religion. I've seen it so many times, people coming on and saying, well, the New Testament's true. Well, how do you know it's true? Well, it's got true things in it. I mean, look at Jerusalem. They've done the archaeology. We know that it's true. You know, we've got Jerusalem. Yeah, and then you say to them the thing about, well, Spider-Man, you know, we know New York is real, but that doesn't make Spider-Man true. Well, yeah, but this is the Bible. No, just because there's something true in a book doesn't make everything true. Sorry, that's the way it goes. Okay, that's all for now. An epic fail for Mormonism, and as Matt said earlier in the call, you didn't hear it, Mormonism is one of the most obviously fake religions, and Scientology is too, of course. But until I'm convinced otherwise with some real evidence, it's starting to look like all the religions. Well, not it's starting to look like. I don't have any good reasons to believe in any of the religions, let me put it like that. Okay, bye for now.